Unstoppable, dude. Welcome back to another little music show we're doing here. How you doing, dude? It's been like a day and a half or something, I think.
I know someone had to get the stomach bug on me, so messed
Yeah,
up the
it was.
entire recording schedule.
I know. I was sitting there sick the other day, and I was like, "Dang, we really just lied to all our viewers, saying we're working on this tomorrow, when in fact I am dying." So
Yeah,
yeah.
now when I watch the video, I'm gonna feel lied to. One
But
viewer
I
down.
mean, if we hadn't said anything here, then it could have been our secret. But you kind of just exposed the whole thing, so
I kind of wanted them to know. So
it's a little
it's
too
Tuesday,
honest.
not Sunday.
Okay, okay. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, buddy?
Much,
Feeling better?
much better than I was Sunday. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was rough, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Would you like to explain what we're here to talk about?
So today we're gonna do a little more in-depth review of the album we reviewed Saturday, Money Mixtape by C Money. Um, we're just gonna be diving deeper, spending more time talking about it than listening to it. We're going to give it a number that we rate it 1 through 10. And then at the end of it, we're going to rank the album 1 through 10. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, that sums it up. I just want to say that you'll be doing 1 through 10. I might just pick a random number. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling.
I
But
mean, yeah, throw out like 27.
yeah, it's all in the vibes. But
I
less
feel you.
music and more discussion. So if that's what you're about, then you came to the right video. Alrighty. So to start the Money Mixtape, we had the song 2023, which I think, if you remember back in our reacting video, we thought was a very strong start to this album. How's it still sitting with you a couple days later?
After listening to the entire thing and hearing it, it's not as high for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like bouncy.
Mm,
Hey, it's 2023, bitch. Why you still mad? Like, I'm not really into that type of style. I still think it hits hard, and I'll still
yeah.
listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, but knowing what he can do and seeing what he did in all of his other songs,
Mm,
it didn't feel like it had like full potential in it.
that's fair.
Um,
Do you feel like it had that kind of like that stereotypical like SoundCloud mixtape kind of sound, like a high schooler? Like you just mentioned
yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah,
bouncy, and that's kind of what it made me think of. And is that how you kind of feel about it?
yeah, or kind of like someone that's just trying to freestyle.
Mm,
They're just sitting in their room trying to freestyle, kind of bounce like that. But the words, the lyrics are still really good. The chorus, I mean, how many switch ups do you have in this one? Two, three?
yeah, yeah. There's definitely a beat switch in the middle. I remember. So you mentioned that, so it kind of sounds like someone trying to freestyle. So let me just throw something back at you here. What do you think about the concept of? And of course, I could be putting words in his mouth, reading into it too much. But the concept of, this is the first song on the album. This is the first song of his like major release, his first major release. What do you think of this being like? This is that lunchtime, lunch table type cipher where you're new. This is where you're first getting your experience at hip hop, and then we see that growth through the album, like you mentioned. Do you think there's anything intentional there, or thematically, like how does that feel? Or
Honestly, I don't know the intentionality of anything in this album. It feels like it's pieced together intentionally, but
hmm
that's just an inference. I definitely feel we see growth throughout the album, and I don't know if this is just the first thing that he did, and then the other songs are what he did in order.
hmm
But I personally feel that the album progressively gets better. Like the last half of the album,
hmm
for me, carries the entire thing. The songs are
I would say, yeah, yeah.
so good. They vibe real well.
He gets more vulnerable too, it feels.
He gets more vulnerable, but it also feels he gets more confident.
Yeah. That's fair. There are still some good bars in this song that I really like. I mean,
100%.
we
Yeah, this
talked
is still a
about
great song.
yeah, we talked about at the top there's 600 for the belt, but I'm still gonna sweat or still gonna sag. Um, like I mean, I mentioned that in the React video. I just love that line. I think it's just such a dope line of like not, still like wanting to flash, wanting to spend the money, wanting to, be all about that, but not letting that like change who you are. And I think we see that throughout
Yeah.
the album a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the lyrics are still great. It's just mainly the flow for me, but I mean, I don't know why, but I really like the Money Tall Ming Yao Yao Ming, who's the
Yeah,
king now me wow. Like
yeah.
I think that one was really catchy in my head, and especially the
Yeah.
first time I heard it.
Oh,
Um,
the way he presents it's really fun too.
and then listening to it in full, it still takes me by shock every time when
Oh,
the
it's the
sounds in
is
my
it the
bed one.
eater? That's
Eater,
right.
eater.
I
I
always
keep forgetting
forget.
about it. I'm
I always
vibing to the
forget.
song, and then eater, eater, and it takes me back.
And I mean, like that. That doesn't ruin it for me. I do like
It
added sound
doesn't ruin
effects
it,
as
but
long as
it's
they're
just
fun.
different.
As
Yeah,
long as it's fun. I enjoyed it. I know it's not your style as much, but I like it where it just gets goofy like that sometimes. You know.
it's just listening to the whole song, and it's vibing real well. And he's talking like, he's talking hard, and like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm getting women and all this, and then eater, it sounds like a SpongeBob
But
sound.
I do feel like that's like this is a song where you have an artist who views himself at the top of everyone else. He's saying like, "Bro, why are you still hating me when you should be go getting your bag? Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep sleeping with these girls, doing these drugs, flexing. Like, it's just someone who's like feeling himself. He's at the top and having fun with it. And I think that's what that added sound is. Is like he's just having fun with it.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah. So okay. So is there anything else you wanted to look at lyrics wise, or do you think you're ready for a little rating on this?
Say we move on to a rating for this one.
Cool. I'll let you go first. What you got?
After listening to the full thing over again, I say this one for me is like a solid 7.7.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering if you'd go lower because I was thinking a solid 7.0. So I
Okay.
thought you were gonna be shooting for like a 6 or something. Just hearing how like it's not as, your favorite to the others, but I feel like seven's a good solid number for like this song. 7 to 7.7.
Yeah.
All right. So that was 2023 coming in at a solid 7.35. Moving on to World on My Shoulders. Trying to remember this one. Just listening to
This is
this
the one
earlier
with the
today.
feature.
Oh yeah, that's right. With Strick, I think.
Yes. And then this is, as you can tell by the lyrics, when he says, I'm looking down at my phone, can't even stay in the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's writing lyrics while he drives.
Yes, and this is where we're starting to see like C Money doesn't have it as like all together as he made it seem in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, he talks about like his high school life. I was on the bench now, we'll play a
Mm-hmm.
um kind of shows that he feels like he didn't have the respect he wanted or
Mm-hmm.
deserved in high
Mm-hmm.
school. And now that he's getting bigger, now he's like, I'm the guy. Like
Yep,
I'm the one.
that's right. Okay. Okay. And you really liked I mean we both really like this chorus, but you were really liking that ketchup line.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. Now my haters need to catch up on talking about Heinz. I wasn't expecting it. Then he once I heard Heinz and I was like, oh my God.
No, I think there's a lot of fun wordplay in this one too. Um and I don't think it's like the most clever wordplay we see on the album, but it's
Oh,
just like
definitely not.
flows really good. I like the gutter digits. I love numbers. By my bank account got lots of them.
Yeah.
The ketchup one. Um, there's a couple others that I put that water on my wrist for all those times that I was crying. Like there's just some really good lines that he's got in here that aren't the most clever, but they flow really good, and they're just good like one-liners that are just really stick out when you're listening to this song.
Yeah. The feature for me wasn't the greatest feature of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the words, it wasn't like his flow per se. It was him on the beat didn't sound natural. Like it didn't sound like he belonged on a beat like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, the feature doesn't do it. But
And
like
I
I said,
I
the
would like to see
lyrics,
these two together again because I do think
yeah,
like they do pair well together. It's just that beat just felt weird with it for sure.
especially hearing C Money on the different beats, we
Mm-hmm.
know that he can kind of not know. not kind of. He can flow change. I mean,
Hmm.
in the song alone, he probably changes, two or three different times.
Right.
So if he was on a beat by Strick that was, different, I
Hmm.
feel he would be able to change up for that beat.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's some good thoughts for sure. What so with that guest verse kind of messing it up a little bit for you, what's that put this rating at with you?
Hmm. For me, honestly, I think this one's sitting at around a 7.5. I think it feels kind of like the same one,
Hmm.
and I don't feel like there's enough like memorable lines in it to bring
Yeah.
it much higher.
Yeah.
Plus, like you said, that features in it, which when it gets to that part, I'm not really feeling it as much. So
Yeah. No, that's fair. She said 7.5 for that.
I did say 7.5 for that one.
I might be going out on a limb here. I might be getting, yelled at for this, but my money got me tall. I'm feeling 6-7 on this, bro.
6, 7.
I just like it's a good song. It's a good song, but and it's so hard. And maybe this is like my fault for comparing it to the rest of the album, but if we're looking at where this stacks like on the album, then like I don't know. It's
See, that's
definitely
how I was thinking too. I was like, okay, we have 9 songs here.
mhm.
And if when we first listened to it, these two songs were bangers, and they are bangers. But compared to other songs on the album, like these ones honestly aren't like the greatest hits.
They're still good and I'll still enjoy listening to them. It's just there's so much better to come, you know?
Yeah,
So
the follow-ups are much better.
so I'm sitting at a 6-7. You're sitting at a what, 7.5?
7.5.
Cool. So we're bringing that in around a 7-1, which I feel like is a respectable number for this song.
Yeah,
All right. Next up, we got Money Flow, which I feel like we had a lot of fun when we were listening to this one.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the video, the first one I said this was my favorite of. I thought it was going to be my favorite of the album, which
Mhm.
obviously it wasn't, but
It was the depressing one.
as always. Um, but this one is still really good. I still really like Attracted Little Pigs doing donuts in the parking lot. Obviously, people use pigs and donuts all the time because cops, but
Mhm.
I still thought it was clever the way he said it. Um,
And
again, chorus,
I don't even think it was like, bro, like that was a game changing bar. I've never heard that diss before, but it's just the way
right?
he like flowed in it. I just loved his like rhythm when he was doing it, you know? Because it was
Yeah, he
like
just said it
attracted
so
all the
casual.
pigs doing donuts in the parking lot. Like it went so well, and like I think that's what really got it for me for sure.
And then I really connected to the third line of the verse. um, Mexican drinking on tequila, F the vodka, bruh. Vodka gives me a giant headache after, one drink of it. So
Hmm.
I also prefer tequila. So
Can we just can we just I just kind of thought something. Can we look at the line below that one that you just mentioned where he says, "Ask me for a feature with no bread, okay, I'm blocking you." I don't know. I just think that's such a funny line after having a song with a feature. You know,
right,
is
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
is it a subtle flex to be like yeah, you know that last song you just heard? Yeah, that man paid me to do that. Like like is that a little flex on
Yeah.
his part to say that? Like
What's funny is when I heard the line in my head, I thought, "Oh, I can't get a feature with them because I don't have the money."
right, right.
Not that I can't rap or do any type of music, but if I was down the road thinking, "Oh, I should get a feature," I know I won't be able to afford it. So
Yeah.
that line opened my eyes.
Open your eyes that you're not made for the rap game for sure. And I do feel like we're seeing some more like of the clever lines that we've come to appreciate from this album. He says one that I really like. Told my pops that I'd be hot. I didn't have to have degrees, which is just such a good like double entendre. Obviously,
Right.
degrees representing temperature, but also like I don't think he has an associate's or a bachelor's or any sort of college degree.
Yeah.
He came out of high school doing this, right? And so he's just saying like I'm hot in this game. I don't have to spend my time or money in college or anything. I'll be stacking up cash without ever going to college, kind of thing.
putting himself in debt and having to pay that off.
Yeah, for real, for real.
And then he does another one of those voice changers in here. She busting up her knees, trying to make me pleased,
But it's
and
a
then
good one.
it gets deep and bust nut and leave. After hearing it so many more times, because at this point I probably listened to the whole thing another 10 times at
Yeah.
least. And after hearing it so many different times, I love it.
Oh, it's
Every
so
time
good.
it comes to that part,
So good.
I'm driving and bust a nut and leave. Like I just it's
So good.
I love it. The first time I was a little iffy on it, and like I said, I don't really like when they do those, but it flows nicely. It
Hmm.
sounds good. It's catchy.
No,
Overall, I think this song is just so it's a good one.
it's such a good one. And I think that's why for me, I think I'm sitting at a 8.6 for this one.
I was gonna say an 8.4.
Okay.
Ah, yeah,
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I just think there's so much just fun parts to this song, and it's an all around song that like sticks out as his own, but also fits into this album of being cocky, struggling, all these different things.
right.
Yeah, it's just all around such a good song. All right, next up we have an interesting one, To the Beat. This is one that
Made a lot of faces making this one.
yeah.
Um, the way he does his voice is very, very high pitch.
Mhm.
And after listening to it more times, it did catch on with me.
Mm.
So if I were to give this a number when we listened to it for the first time Saturday, it would have been lower than what I give it today.
Mhm.
So it's definitely grown on me. As always, the lyrics are good
Oh yeah.
and the
Oh yeah.
flow is pretty well. It's just with that high pitched voice, it didn't it didn't fit right.
Mhm.
Also, he does other songs in here where he's singing,
Mhm.
and I thought this was his singing voice.
Right.
So I was worried, but then when I found out he could sing better, that kind of brought the song down even more because I was like, if you can sing and you can do it well, why this high pitched voice that doesn't seem to fit the song?
Right. And it's interesting you say that because the more I've listened to this after hearing other songs later in the album where he is singing more, this song just doesn't sit as right with me the more I listen to it. And I think it's because like I really enjoy those songs. Like I think it's like I don't know why. And there's like another one I want to say, but where he's like singing more.
Yeah,
And it's just so good. And it's just like he's got such a good voice and he flows so well while he sings and stuff. And I don't know, this song does feel like it's trying to be like a club like get your girl grinding on you kind of song, you know?
yeah,
And I can see what it's trying to do with that. I'm just not into those songs as much. And knowing that like he set that bar later in the album and that this kind of comes below that just kind of messes with me. And then I mean we have the whole I know that I can't keep living this way where like he goes
yeah,
into that like super high pitched. And it's weird because the more I listen to that, like it kind of goes hard, especially after you've talked about like 808s and heartbreaks and we kind of compared it to that a little bit compared to like a couple other songs to that a little bit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can kind of hear that, and it kind of takes me back to that and that nostalgia of it. And so there's just parts of the song where I've really got to be in the mood to hear it, if that makes sense.
yeah. And for me personally, like I don't skip this one. I still
Hmm.
listen to the thing all the way through,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't. Like someone was like, "What do you want to listen to?" I wouldn't tell them to put on this song. I wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, put on To the Beat by C
Hmm.
Money." If it came on and I was feeling it maybe,
Hmm.
I'd listen to it.
Yeah. I'd sing
But
along.
like I
I'd
said,
sing
I'm
along.
not going to be picking it out and saying, "Oh yeah, let's play that one."
No, for sure.
And then the feature on this
I
one,
was gonna say, and then the feature wasn't bad. It's
his
just,
lyrics again, his lyrics were good,
hmm.
but it doesn't feel like he's fully confident with it. And he also does like a kind of higher pitched thing.
Hmm.
And I don't know how old he is. That could just be his voice. I don't know anything about him, but
Yeah.
It still just doesn't fit to me.
No, that's fair.
But the lyrics and wordplay were still really good.
Yeah. And I do wonder if it's confidence or something, or if it's just like I mean, if this is like your first time getting like a song produced like this, like yeah, bro, that'd be stressful. Like that'd be,
Yeah,
I don't know. There is potential there for sure, and I'd love to like again like with the previous feature. I'd love to see more with these two. I think there's a lot of potential as both artists are growing. I
right.
just think like as a whole, because this is such a it just depends on the mood kind of song for me. I think it's coming in at like a 6.5 for me.
That's way higher than what I was putting mine.
Really, because I still enjoy the song when I enjoy it. It's just I gotta be in the mood for it.
I was putting mine at a 5.5.
5.5, dang.
Yeah, 5.5. Like I said, I'm not gonna skip it, but the only thing that carries it, the reason it's that high is the lyrics
The
for
lyricism,
me.
for sure.
The
How do
lyrics
you?
and verses.
So with that average, how do you feel about it falling at like an even 6? Then do you feel like that's still a little too high, or
I feel like an even 6 isn't terrible.
that's fair? I can respect that. All right, a classic, bitch, please.
Such a good one. I mean, it started it all, really. I mean, it's the reason we're here right now doing
No, for
this. So
sure.
I think that alone, 10. We can go on to the next song.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard to find like a fault in this song. And like and that's not to say that like Money Flow had like issues with it, There's just still stuff that like maybe could have elevated it.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of like what would have made this song better. Like there's so much I love this song. He switches up flows so much. I mean, when he goes between like this chorus to this first verse to like this little bridge he drops to this new verse and then back to that original chorus. Those are all different things he's doing there.
yeah.
And so I think that's like just super fun to hear.
And like you said, it all flows so well, but it felt like a professional song. Like it
Hmm.
felt like he's been doing this for a while. The first time I heard it, I put it on my playlist immediately because I was like, this sounds so, so good.
No, yeah, and it was such a strong single, something to really catch your eye for this album that's coming out soon. What are you thinking for the rating on this?
I think I think an 8.5
Eight
is
five?
the lowest I'm going.
Yeah. I'm not the type to say I like there's very few songs I've heard where I'll call it a 10. I don't think this is a 10 quite yet for me, but I will say it's a tough one. I'll call it a the more I've listened to it, the more I vibe with it. The more I've listened to the album, the more I like this one more for some reason. So I think I'm gonna have to call it a solid 9.
Yeah, I could feel it
Like, yeah, it's just such a fun song. There's so much that he's showing off in this song. I think the fact that it's his first single off the album really adds to it for me. Like that this is what
true.
he's flexing with. Like there's just so many factors going into it. The replay value on it's so good. It doesn't feel like it's a song where like you have to be in the mood for it. I feel like anytime the song's on, I'm just vibing to it. So yeah.
It's a catchy enough song that I can walk around singing it all day because it sticks with you.
Especially like when he just drops into that like rubbing on my tattoos, like when he just drops into that like
Yep.
new so good. So yeah, I think 9 is a very like still a little too low for me, but I would still feel satisfied with it.
Now I kind of want to change mine to a 9.
What are we saying? This is the first time we're doing this. There's no rules. Are you wanting to change yours?
I think so. I think after thinking about it a little bit more, I think singing the chorus in my head, I think I want to jump
All
into
right, how about this? How about this? We got to have some rules to this chaos and anarchy that is our reactions and music time together. And so I will say that the both of us get one free change throughout this whole album. So right now,
Okay.
you look at the top of your screen there, we're at the exact midpoint of this album, and you get one free Switch. Do you feel
I'm changing
confident in
mine
your
to a
rate?
9. Yeah, dude.
Okay, okay.
I don't I don't need to think about it. I'm changing to a 9.
I respect it. I respect that you're so sure in this and that you're gonna regret it later on. Or not. I don't think you will. Nine's such a good pick for it. All right, so that was Bitch Please. Now we're on the latter half of this album where I think we both agree that it starts to really pick up on its pace, on its songs, on its like stories that it's telling, on just everything that it's doing. I don't know why a song that is just sits really heavy with you. So I think for this one, I'm just going to take a step back. I'm just going to let you take the lead on this one, and you just talk all that you need to say on this one.
I mean, yeah, like you said, the second half of this album carries for me. I think it does start with Bitch Please, but this one just whoop mountaintop. Okay, the mountaintop is here. I mean, it's hard to just it's hard to
I don't know
explain.
why. Yeah.
No, no, that's definitely not.
I thought
Um,
I didn't do it justice. You're right. You're right.
just looking at the lyrics, they seem so simple. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard for me to change. But I mean, even just those simple lyrics for me, like I love deeper music. This is something I told C Money. I said, I don't know why it's my favorite song. And the lyrics are simple, but they're so deep, and I love the deeper lyrics. And I also told him, and I told you, they can be taken for so many different things. In the last line, the last few lines,
Mm-hmm.
I just meant the chorus. Uh,
Oh, my bad. Wait, my bad. Yeah, go ahead.
and I don't know why you still all in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to think about this no more, but I can't win this game.
Yeah.
Like I talked about on Saturday's video, and it can be taken for so many different things. You can put so many different things in there because he's not saying exactly what he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
You still all in my brain. You could be so many different things.
Person.
It could be a person, it could be a lost person, it could be a loved one, it could be a
Mm-hmm.
pet, it could be drugs, alcohol, any vice.
Yeah.
You could be any one of those things.
You're still hooked on.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I mean, I have a lot of things where I'm like, why is it still in my brain? Why do I think about it? I don't want to think about this anymore.
No, yeah.
I want it gone. But then, like he says in the very last line, I can't win this game. Like, no matter what I do, I try to spend my time doing other things, try to get my brain off of it. Once I'm done occupying it for, an hour or two, now it's there again. And
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that.
I really
Um,
liked what you said about like the simplicity of lyrics in this because I feel like it's a song he's not hiding behind anything flashy. There's no crazy beat switches. There's no crazy vocals. There's no crazy like lyrics that like you focus on like what is he saying here? What does this mean? Or this was such a good line. It was very just straightforward and raw and real and him saying this is what I'm struggling with. I don't know why I keep going back to it.
yeah. And this middle part right here, substance abuse don't F my health,
Mhm.
calms my nerves, talking about it because it helps. Just want to feel calm, swear I mean well. I ain't really trying to be a junkie for real. My anxiety go get me killed. I've never been like, a drug addict or anything, but again, substance abuse. Um, yeah, I like to drink, but I think I mainly like to drink to get that buzz because I'm not feeling anything. I'm not thinking about anything.
Mhm. You're
I'm
just
just sitting
vibing.
there
Yeah.
vibing. Whatever I'm doing, my mind's blank. Um, so the anxiety line, like I have anxiety about so many different things. I mean, my day-to-day life, I'm thinking like, how am I going to do this? Because that makes me super, super anxious. I can't
Yeah.
going to the store, I have to plan out a mental map of where everything is so that way I can go place to place, grab it, and get out of there in 5 minutes.
And I
Because
think
being in the
like
store, I can't do it.
right, and I think that line about anxiety shows just how futile of like a fight this is for him, where he's saying like, I don't know why I keep going back to these things. I don't know why I keep struggling. And he says like, my anxiety is like the cause of a lot of this. Well, it's like you can't explain that. Like you can't explain away anxiety. It's not such a simple fix. Like there's it's such a complicated thing. And so to just be like, I just want to change. Like I just grit my teeth and change. That's not going to happen. Like it's so much more than that. And he's struggling to kind of like come to terms with that. I think is what we're seeing. I think it's a song that we could just talk about and probably listen to for hours.
When I start the album, I don't even start in 2023. I start on this one. Just let it go
Yeah,
back through.
such a good one. Do you feel content enough to give it a rating now?
I can easily, and it's hard because I want to give it a 10,
Mm-hmm.
but I honestly don't know any songs in my entire life that I would give a perfect 10.
Right.
Just because I don't see anything as like 100% perfect,
Right.
but
Right.
I also don't see anything being able to become 100% perfect. This to me is a 9.8.
9.8.
9.8. I couldn't even tell you what would get it those last zero point 0.2 points,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's such a good song, and
No.
I love it.
That's
I sing it all day.
that's fair because I'm feeling a 9.5 on it, and I think yeah, I think everything that you said about it just really does it justice. And yeah, I think bring it into like a 9.65 overall is it just feels like a good spot for it. I think, like you said, there's nothing that could push it over to a 10. It's just is all around such a good song, and it, it's perfect the way it is. Honestly, like I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean,
anything. Yeah. All right, Party, a heavy follow up to a heavy song where he is just talking about going crazy, and it is such a good song for me. I love this song. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like my favorite song on the album, but and I wonder if it is like we kind of talked about how there's some G-Eazy vibes to it. I don't know if that's part of it is because I grew up in high school listening to G-Eazy. Um, sad to say that that was my only experience with hip hop at a time in my life. I was not diversified back then, but it does take me back to those days, and I think there's just it's just I think he just had a lot of fun with this song, and you can really feel it when you like listen to it.
I mean, like the title of the song, "Party." Like I feel this is a party song. I feel like I'd be sitting there, playing beer pong, drink in my hand, and this song's in the background as
Hmm.
I'm dancing along to it.
Yeah, I
I
think there's
really
there's very little I find wrong with this song. What were you saying?
I really like the last line of the chorus.
Of course. Oh, the horchata one.
Yeah, I'm in love with
Yeah,
Mexicans and I drink my horchata. That
yeah.
I walk around saying that every day because I really like that one.
Well, they go into like "Chica soy tu papa," like I'm like, girl, I'm your daddy. Like that's just such.
Yeah,
I just love like especially like going like he's kind of played into his roots a little bit throughout this song, and I just love like he's just full on just Spanish rapping, and it's just a little taste of it, but it's just so much fun. And I'm trying to remember as we're doing this, like which songs have that Spanish guitar. Was I don't know why one of them.
no, I believe it was the next one coming up.
Okay, I thought I knew coming up does, and that's why and we'll get to that when we get to coming up. I do
It
really
might be
like it.
coming up and whoa. I'm pretty sure it's the last two.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that because I love that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. He's drinking, he's fighting, you know. It's just
It's just like
getting
I
the
said, the
women. It's
title,
just
it's a
yeah,
party song. Like
it is, and I
it
think
is a
there's
good, fun party song that you can vibe to, flows well, lyrics are good.
hmm
For me, it's not like I would listen to this in any mood. If I'm having one of my down days, I don't
that's
think I would
fair.
put this on.
That's fair.
Um, but yeah, I mean, any other time, I'd put this on and vibe with it. And driving my car listening to this, it
Oh
bangs.
yeah, I think I'm rocking with this at a solid just 8-0. To be honest, I think it's just a solid like fun song.
I was gonna say 8.5.
8-5. Okay, I feel like I like 8-0 on it. I'm not gonna change it. I think yeah, I think it's just solid. not too much that I have an issue with, but like you said, it's not one for like all occasions, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a good one. I enjoy it. But let's get to coming up because this one had that Mexican guitar, right? Like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, this is the one that starts with Mexican guitar.
Yes, this okay. I literally was just listening to this before we got on with this, and I love. And we've kind of talked about this like when we were doing the react. I love the like religious kind of how he's turning to religion now, and just seeing
Hmm.
like what that's doing with him. I did forget though. It does have that like
The
ending.
end,
It
yeah.
does have that ending. I think that's gonna knock some points off it for me.
I think it is too, but my thing is I understand the high pitchedness. I
And
understand
we've talked about
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from with it. My thing is I don't think he had to go as high pitch as he went. I think he could have toned it down a little bit more, worked on pronouncing it better,
hmm
and I think that would have hit the spot a lot more than this does. I think it's too high pitch.
I mean, like my dogs were vibing to it when it was going. I'm just kidding. I do.
You
I
don't have
would like.
dogs, so
I would like to like hear his thoughts on it and what the creative like thought was of making it sound like that because
yeah, for sure. I'd like to hear his thoughts on
he's
everything
he's
we've
seemed
said.
he seemed very intentional on a lot of his just like what he's doing throughout this album, whether it's sounds he's adding in, whether it's like auto tune he's placing, vocal changes, pitching up, pitching down, whatever he's doing. It's very intentional. And so I feel like this is a very intentional song too. Like this is one again where he's stripped back those layers. It's a very straightforward song. The lyrics aren't too like crazy, and it's just you know what he's saying. So why would he do this at the end? And I would just love to kind of hear like what he was thinking it was gonna do, and then maybe that'll switch something in my mind where I'm like, okay, I see that, and that perfects the song for me, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think overall I think I'm still feeling like an 8-7 on it. I really like this one.
I really like this one. I mean, he comes out, you know, you have that guitar, and then
hmm
it's feeling so smooth, and I'm coming up. I felt something in my head,
It's
and
so.
it has layers to it
hmm
that just bring it up like so well. Um, I mean, yeah, I think this one would be a nine for me if it wasn't for that bottom
Yep.
section.
Yeah. And
I
again,
think I have,
hearing his input on it could change that.
yeah. I do think I have to bump off a few decimal places, not places, but um, I think I'm gonna go with an 8-7.
So just 8-7 all around then.
Yeah, because like I said, if you cut that bottom part off, I'm saying nine, maybe a little higher, but
Oh yeah, yeah for sure. I think 8-7
especially
is a
since it's the end of the song. Like I feel like it would have been higher if it
it
was the
was just
start of the song
going so
because
hard, and then that comes out of
I get
nowhere, and
this
you're
whole
like,
good song and then I have to finish
ah,
off with that. Like
yeah,
I was vibing so hard and it
yeah,
finishes with that.
yeah. Maybe one day we'll know why. Maybe one day.
Hopefully.
All right, and now we come to the finale of the album, a song that you want to just make a statement for your listeners to remember what you just did this entire album. Do we feel like Woe captured that? Do we feel like Woe was just a good statement song?
I loved this song.
I love this song.
I hate comparing artists, but it sounded very like Jaden to me.
Oh
And I
yeah,
don't
that's what you
know,
said before, yeah.
I'm assuming it's because he hits right on the drum hit every time.
Every yeah.
I'm making this bread, I'm stacking this dough, so baby, let's toast. And it
Oh, it
dropped,
goes.
and it sounded so great in the ear. And I honestly cannot remember what Jaden's song does that.
There's a couple. There's a couple for sure.
I want to
Um,
say it was Ghost by him, but it reminded me of that. The ear sound hitting
yeah,
on
yeah,
that drum hit
I can see
sounded
that.
so well. And then I mean his very last line in the entire song, which also the last line of the chorus, I'm used to the cold, I'm from Wyoming, my necklace froze. Like shouts out Wyoming, hits on that drum beat, and it's a good line to end
And I think why it reminds you of Jaden is because Jaden's known for making choruses that flow so cleanly. Like
on. Yeah,
I don't think I've like there are a few artists where I would say can do a chorus better than like Jaden Smith can. Like his choruses flow, and it's why his music is just so like why so many people just enjoy that part of his music. You know, that's why I mean, you know, Batman, Batman, Batman. You know, like this boy, yeah, no, like it just flows so well, and I think that's exactly what he's doing here, where you know, like you said, it's on that beat. So like, so baby, let's toast. Like I don't blow O's, and then I love it. I love it. Mama had told me them demons ain't real, but I left in a ghost. Like it's just so.
yeah,
It just builds and builds and builds, and it's just so good. And then you get to that like, I gave her the coat. She said she coat. She play in the snow. I used to the coat. I'm from the YO. My necklace froze. Like it just goes, and that's the chorus. Like that's not even the
yeah.
verse. And this is the song where he goes so hard on the verse, where he
He
does some,
speeds
he
up.
speeds it up in a way that we're like, where was this the past
Yeah,
8
like
songs? And I think that's why it's such a good statement song because like you're on the ninth song of this album, he's shown you that he can sing, that he can rap, that he's got a story to tell, that he's a lyricist, that he's got a great flow, that he just has all these great things that he's showing off. And you're like, great. Let's see how he wraps it up into one song. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't use any of those, right? He's doing all these different things where he's matching his like his rhythm of like hitting that beat hard with every bar, with every rhyme. He's hitting that beat, which we didn't really see earlier in this album. And then, like you said, he speeds it up here, which we definitely didn't see earlier in this album. And so he's showcasing, I think we talked about this in the reaction, where like he's saying, like, I've still got more that I can do. Like you
yeah,
thought like this album was it. This is the tip of the iceberg. Like I'm like back to 2023. I'm just breaking into this game. I'm at the top and I'm coming up. You know, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's just why this is such a good song to me. The Spanish guitar, the shout out to Wyoming, obviously great things, but take those out, and I don't think it changes the fact that this is like a 9-7 to me, maybe 9-8. I want to say 9-8.
Okay, so this is your top song now.
It is, it is, and I try and figure it out every time, and I try and give every song a chance, but it always comes back to this song, and it's such a good just like baby, let's toast. Like it's yeah, it's a song to just chill with the boys and celebrate what the squad's been doing, you know?
Okay. I personally, I think I would give this a 9.5.
Okay.
This is, again, great song, love it, and yeah, for me, it's not as high as I don't know why, because it's not one of those, you know,
That's
darker,
fair.
sad ones. But the drum hits, like you said, he speeds it up super well. You can hear everything he's saying. Great, great song. I can easily say this is the number two song for me.
And I'll definitely take it as a 9.65, which is that average, because it's still above a 9.5, and I can respect that. So I
And it's actually what we got for I don't know why.
9.65?
Yeah,
That's insane.
the top
Both
two songs have the
both are
exact
top
same
song. Both of
average.
our I think I don't know why is my second favorite too. So I think it just makes sense.
That's
That's
so nice.
I promise we didn't plan that. That's
I
insane.
yeah, I made up all my things right there on the spot.
Yeah, I wanted to stay impartial and hear what you said and talk about it before I set the numbers down, but that's so funny. Wow. Wow. So we have the rankings for each song. We've had a
Yep.
good chance to talk about them. We've had a good chance to react, a good chance to listen, and now it comes down to the final rating of the Money Mixtape by C Money. How are we feeling?
I think it would, like I said, it's really good. It's
Hmm.
a short listen,
Hmm.
but it doesn't feel like a short listen. Like I listened to the entire thing and I'm not like, oh, that was, 26 minutes. I'm like, that was only 26 minutes.
Hmm.
It doesn't feel dragged out. It doesn't feel like there's all these songs that are jumbled together and just it feels like each song is different. Each song has a story to tell. Each song has its own flow somehow. How do you have nine different songs with nine different flows in them?
But they still fit together so well.
They fit together like a puzzle. Obviously, there's a few that aren't aren't the greatest and they're not, you know, packed in as tight. But I think overall, I'd give the album an 8.5.
It's insane because I was thinking an 8.6. I think what I think what you said was just very well said, and like I love what you said about it just being a puzzle. Like so much of it just fits together. He's telling a story, whether on purpose or not. I feel like if we just, I just would just dive into this more. Where it feels like there's just two parts to this album.
Yeah,
Everything leading into Bitch Please is him just really just like hyped up about what he's doing, and then he's just kind of having these realizations that it's not the best with I don't know why. And that's where we see like he just gets deep, introspective, and we see so much growth in those four songs. And I just feel like you look at the first half and the last half, and it's just two different people almost in the way that he's grown
yeah, I can see that.
in just one album. And if this is what he's doing with a 9-track mixtape on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, first project, I'm just so excited to see like what he's going to be able to do with more resources, more time, more money behind it, more everything, because I think there's a lot that he can do, especially with this creative mind and just creative soul that he's showing. So I feel like what's that 8.55 overall for the whole album?
Yeah,
I feel like that's a very solid spot for it, especially for a first mixtape. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it.
I'm happy with it. I'm glad that we got the opportunity to do this.
So much
I
fun.
hope for more opportunities in the future. I hope to see him live. I don't know where he's living right now, so I don't know exactly when we would have the opportunity. But even if we could make a trip out to see a show, I think
No,
that'd be crazy.
so worth it for all these songs. All these songs would be so good live, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to echo that and just say it has been an amazing opportunity. So grateful for C Money for just extending this offer to us. Um, and I'm just looking forward to see what he's got coming up in the future because this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, he has so much more that he's gonna do.
Yeah, it's been a blast. But there we go. That was the album for us. I'm feeling good about it.
I am too.
Sweet. Is there anything else you want to say to add on to it, Unstoppable?
No, uh, again, just thanks for the opportunity. Um, Thanks to whoever watches this. And yeah, that's all I got. You
Yeah.
got anything else?
Just make sure to keep an eye out for more monthly music, more music reactions, um, and just more of whatever crazy, wacky, silly videos that we may be putting out.
And I won't be in any of them though, so
All right, see you on Sample.
later.
I walked through the door, I see me a hoe, and I was like, whoa. She taking my hand, she touching my pants, I know how it go. I gave her my coat, she said that she cold, she play in the snow. I'm used to the cold, I'm from the YO, my necklace froze.